In the stillness of the night, as the world around you slows to a gentle hum, a journey begins, a journey into the heart of the wild. Imagine the soft rustle of leaves in the breeze, the distant call of an owl echoing through the trees, and the rhythmic chirping of crickets beneath a canopy of stars. This is the soothing symphony of nature, a melody that has played for millennia, weaving its way through the vast savannas, dense rainforests, and quiet wetlands of our planet. There is something timeless and serene about the wilderness. It offers a sense of grounding, a reminder of the beauty and simplicity and the harmony of life in its purest form. Tonight, as you prepare to drift into a deep and restful sleep, let the rhythm of nature guide you. Each chapter of this journey will transport you to a different corner of the world, where the untamed beauty of wildlife and landscapes will lull you into a peaceful slumber. From the golden plains of Africa to the lush rainforests of South America, the gentle waterways of Asia, and the rolling meadows of North America, each destination brings its own tranquil charm. Picture herds of elephants moving silently through the bushveld, the soft ripple of a river disturbed only by a rising hippo, or the delicate dance of fireflies in a tropical forest. This is the magic of a safari, a timeless adventure that allows us to reconnect with the world around us, all while finding a sense of calm within. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let the call of the wild carry you into a world of peace and wonder. The journey begins now, as the first rays of dawn light up the horizon of the Serengeti. Let's step softly into this dream of nature. Welcome to Bedtime Travel Stories, where soothing tales and soft narrations take you on a tranquil journey through the world's most enchanting places, right from the comfort of your bed. Unwind and travel with us as we explore the globe one story at a time, helping you relax and drift into a peaceful sleep. As the first light of dawn begins to illuminate the Serengeti, the vast golden plains stretch endlessly in every direction. The grass, damp with morning dew, sways gently in the cool breeze, kissed by the soft glow of the rising sun. The horizon shimmers in a dance of warm oranges and soft purples, a tranquil prelude to the day ahead. Above, the sky begins its transformation, the deep indigo of night giving way to the pastel hues of dawn, creating a canvas so expansive it feels as though the world itself is waking with you. The Serengeti is alive with the subtle stirrings of the day. Herds of zebras and wildebeest begin to emerge from the shadows, their silhouettes moving gracefully across the landscape. You can almost hear the rhythm of their hooves, a gentle percussion that echoes across the plains. The Great Migration may be a spectacle in itself, but even in its quieter moments, the harmony of animals moving together is a reminder of nature's balance. The sound of grazing, soft and unhurried, is punctuated by the occasional snort or playful nudge between animals. A family of elephants appears on the horizon, their silhouettes majestic against the golden light of dawn. They move with slow deliberation, their wrinkled trunks swaying in unison as they guide their young toward a nearby watering hole. The youngest calf stumbles slightly eliciting a soft trumpet from its mother, a sound both tender and protective. The elephant's steady pace and gentle presence convey a timeless wisdom, a calm assurance that life here moves as it has for millennia. The mighty acacia trees, with their sprawling umbrella-like canopies, provide shelter for smaller creatures. Monkeys chatter as they leap from branch to branch, their playful energy contrasting with the serenity of the land. Birds, too, begin their morning rituals. A lilac-breasted roller, its plumage a dazzling array of blues and purples, flutters gracefully from its perch, while in the distance the haunting call of a fish eagle echoes across the plains. The air is filled with an orchestra of sound, chirps, trills, and distant roars, all blending seamlessly into the gentle hum of the awakening savanna. Close to the ground, the smaller details of life reveal themselves. A colony of dung beetles works industriously, their tiny forms glinting in the sunlight as they roll their prize across the earth. Nearby, a jackal prowls silently, its sharp eyes scanning the horizon for an easy meal. Even the tiniest blades of grass seem alive, glistening with dew and swaying in harmony with the breeze. As the sun climbs higher, the light transforms the landscape into a radiant tapestry of golds and greens. A pride of lions lounges in the shade of an acacia tree, their tawny coats blending with the dry grass. They appear relaxed, their eyes half closed, yet their every movement is purposeful. The smallest cub pounces playfully on its siblings, while the older lions watch with quiet dignity, embodying the balance of power and grace. The Serengeti is a land of contrasts, where life thrives in the midst of vast emptiness. The distant hills, softened by the haze of the morning light, cradle the plains in a gentle embrace. Here, time seems to stretch and dissolve, leaving only the rhythmic pulse of the natural world. The endless horizon invites a deep sense of calm, as though the vastness of the land holds space for all worries to fade away. The air carries with it the earthy aroma of the savanna, fresh grass, sun-warmed earth, and a faint hint of rain on the wind. It's a scent that feels grounding, connecting you to the primal essence of the land. In this moment, the Serengeti feels like a world untouched by time, a sanctuary where the cycles of nature unfold in quiet majesty. As the morning progresses, the interplay of light and shadow continues to shift, painting the landscape in ever-changing hues. The serene cadence of life here, the whispers of the wind, and the quiet calls of distant animals all combine to create an unbroken sense of harmony. Close your eyes and let the soft rhythms of the Serengeti carry you further into a state of peaceful relaxation. The journey has only just begun. As the morning mist lifts over Kruger National Park, the landscape awakens with a quiet energy. The air is crisp and cool, carrying the scent of damp earth and acacia blossoms. Rolling grasslands stretch into the distance, dotted with ancient baobab trees standing like silent sentinels against the golden light. The rhythmic calls of doves and the distant trumpeting of an elephant signal the slow stirring of the wilderness. The dense bushveld, with its tangled thickets and scattered clearings, is alive with movement. A herd of impalas, their sleek coats gleaming in the soft sunlight, moves gracefully through the brush, their ears twitching at the slightest sound. Nearby, a kudu bull with spiraled horns rising like elegant sculptures pauses to nibble on the tender leaves of a marula tree. His presence is regal, his movements slow and deliberate. A deeper hush settles over the land as a leopard, nearly invisible against the dappled shadows of a leadwood tree, watches with keen eyes. Muscles coiled, the great cat remains still, a masterpiece of patience and control. The soft rustle of the wind through the grasses masks its presence as it waits, poised between stillness and action. Further ahead, a well-worn dirt road winds through the bush, its reddish soil a stark contrast to the greens and golds of the surrounding savanna. A journey through Kruger is a journey through time, where each twist in the road unveils a new tableau of nature's quiet drama. At a nearby watering hole, a family of elephants gathers, their wrinkled gray hides glistening as they spray themselves with cool, muddy water. The matriarch, her presence both commanding and gentle, raises her trunk to test the breeze, ever watchful over her herd. The stillness is suddenly interrupted by a deep, resonant roar, a sound that rumbles through the land like distant thunder. A male lion, hidden within the tall grasses, announces his presence with a call that seems to vibrate in the very air. His golden mane stirs slightly in the breeze as he stretches, his massive paws pressing into the earth. His pride is not far behind, scattered beneath the shade of a cluster of mopane trees, their languid forms half hidden in the dappled light. High above, the sky is a brilliant blue, punctuated by the circling silhouettes of vultures riding the thermals. They move in slow, spiraling patterns, their sharp eyes scanning the landscape below. Their presence is a quiet reminder of the delicate balance of life here, where every creature, from the towering elephant to the tiniest dung beetle, plays a role in the grand design of the wild. As midday approaches, the air grows warmer, the once cool breeze now carrying the dry scent of sun-baked earth. In the distance, a pod of hippos lounges in the shallows of a winding river, their round forms half submerged beneath the rippling surface. They grunt and snort contentedly, their ears flicking away the occasional insect. The water is a lifeline here, drawing animals from across the park to drink, bathe, and find relief from the midday heat. A troop of baboons scampers along the riverbank, their playful energy a contrast to the slow-moving hippos. The younger ones tumble over each other in mock battles, their shrill cries echoing against the water. An older male watches from a nearby rock, his face lined with wisdom, his gaze sharp and knowing. As the day stretches on, the colors of the bush begin to shift, deepening into the rich hues of afternoon. The golden grasses sway lazily, and the sky takes on the first hints of its impending transformation. In the quiet heat, a pair of rhinos moves through the dust, their thick hides marked with traces of dried mud. They are ancient creatures, their presence both formidable and gentle, a testament to a world that has remained unchanged for thousands of years. As the sun begins its slow descent, the park settles into a different rhythm. The landscape is bathed in warm amber light, casting long shadows across the earth. The night creatures begin to stir, the distant hoot of an owl, the rustling of unseen movement in the undergrowth. The bushveld never truly sleeps. It simply shifts, the rhythms of the wild continuing in an unbroken, eternal cycle. With the fading light comes a deeper peace, a stillness that settles over the land like a soft embrace. In Kruger, the heartbeat of the wilderness is steady, unchanging, timeless. As the last golden rays dip below the horizon, the call of a nightjar signals the approach of evening, and the wild, ever-moving, ever-watching begins its nightly song. As the first golden rays of morning filter through the reeds, the Okavango Delta of Botswana awakens in a world of shimmering water and whispering grasses. Unlike the vast savannas and dry bushvelds of Africa, this oasis is a place of reflection, both in the still surface of its winding waterways and in the unhurried rhythm of life that pulses through its waters. The dawn mist lingers above the mirrored channels, casting a dreamlike haze over the landscape, as the sounds of birdsong and the distant grunts of hippos ripple through the cool air. A lone mokoro, a slender wooden canoe, glides silently along the glassy water, steered by an experienced polar standing at its stern. The boat moves without sound, cutting through the reeds with the softest disturbance. The traveler seated within is close enough to see dragonflies skimming the surface, their delicate wings catching the first morning light. Nearby, a malachite kingfisher perches on a low-hanging branch, its brilliant plumage flashing as it darts into the water for a small fish. Further ahead, a herd of red lechwe antelope wades through the shallows, their golden coats reflecting in the morning light. Their hooves are adapted for the marshy terrain, and they move effortlessly through the floodplain, pausing to drink from the cool, clear water. Behind them, the land rises slightly, giving way to a drier island where a family of elephants slowly makes its way to the water's edge. They move in a quiet, deliberate procession, their large ears fanning gently, their trunks curling downward to drink. The youngest calf trumpets excitedly before splashing into the shallows, sending ripples outward in playful defiance of the morning stillness. The waterways are lined with papyrus reeds that sway gently, whispering their secrets to the wind. Along their edges, crocodiles lie in wait, their dark forms nearly indistinguishable from the sunlit mud. They are still, ancient, their eyes barely breaking the surface, watching without a sound. As the mokoro drifts deeper into the heart of the delta, the sounds of the wild begin to unfold like a symphony. The low, echoing call of an African fish eagle rings across the floodplain, a sound so distinct that it seems to embody the very essence of Africa itself. A family of baboons sits atop a fallen tree, their playful chatter filling the air as the younger ones tumble and chase each other across the branches. Their movements are a contrast to the slow, measured steps of a nearby giraffe, its long neck weaving gracefully as it pulls leaves from an acacia tree. As midday approaches, the sun climbs higher, casting its brilliance upon the water, which now shimmers with hues of emerald and gold. The reflections of clouds drift lazily across its surface, giving the illusion of a second sky below. The delta is a living canvas, constantly changing, its beauty shaped by the ever-moving water that breathes life into the land. Further along, a pod of hippos gathers in a deep pool, their massive forms half submerged as they bask in the afternoon warmth. Their low grunts and occasional snorts create a rhythmic soundtrack to the day, punctuated by the occasional splash as one dips beneath the surface. At the riverbank, a pair of saddle-billed storks wade gracefully, their striking black and white feathers contrasting with the sapphire blue of the sky. The delta is a sanctuary for the gentle and the fierce, the patient and the swift. Along its edges, the tall grasses rustle with unseen movement. A leopard, perhaps, winding its way through the undergrowth, its presence only revealed in the faintest flicker of a golden coat beneath the dappled shade. Here, even the apex predators move with quiet reverence, as if the water itself demands a softer touch. As the afternoon drifts into evening, the delta takes on an even more ethereal glow. The sky transforms into a canvas of pinks and purples, reflected perfectly in the still lagoons. A lone bull elephant stands silhouetted against the horizon, his immense form a guardian of this pristine world. The warm breeze carries the scent of damp earth and blooming water lilies, wrapping the senses in the essence of this untamed paradise. As the final light fades and the first stars begin to twinkle in the vast sky, the Okavango Delta embraces the hush of night. The gentle lapping of water against the reeds, the distant call of a hyena, and the occasional plop of a fish breaking the surface all merge into a lullaby of the wild. This is a place of movement and stillness, of sound and silence, where the rhythm of nature lulls even the restless into a deep, peaceful calm. Let the waters carry you further into the night, where the wild whispers of the Okavango merge seamlessly into dreams. The journey continues, but for now, let yourself drift in the serenity of this floating world. The first rays of sunlight stretch across the Masai Mara in Kenya, painting the vast golden grasslands in hues of amber and gold. The land seems to glow with the soft light of morning, and the horizon feels endless, blending seamlessly with the pale blue sky. The gentle rustle of the grass is accompanied by the distant lowing of wildebeest and the occasional call of a lilac-breasted roller whose vibrant colors flash like jewels against the early light. The air is cool, crisp, and carries the earthy aroma of the savanna, laced with the faint scent of acacia blossoms. The Masai Mara is alive with activity. Herds of zebra mingle with wildebeest, their black and white stripes contrasting sharply with the golden backdrop. They graze peacefully, but their ears remain ever alert, twitching at the faintest sound. Nearby, a lone giraffe strides elegantly, its long neck swaying as it plucks leaves from the top of a thorny acacia tree. Its shadow stretches across the earth, a reminder of the sun's slow climb into the sky. From a distance, the deep, resonant roar of a lion echoes across the plains. A male lion, his golden mane catching the light, surveys his kingdom from a rocky outcrop. His amber eyes seem to hold the wisdom of ages, and his presence commands a quiet reverence. Below, his pride lounges in the shade of a solitary tree, their forms blending seamlessly with the tall grasses. A cub stirs and lets out a tiny roar, mimicking its father, and the older lions respond with little more than a flick of their tails. Near the Mara River, the air is filled with the sound of splashing water and the occasional grunt of hippos. They cluster together in the deep pools, their massive forms half submerged, eyes and nostrils just above the surface. Crocodiles lie in wait along the muddy banks, motionless except for the occasional flick of their tails. A lone-pied kingfisher hovers above the river, its sharp eyes scanning for a flash of movement beneath the surface. As the sun climbs higher, the sky becomes a brilliant expanse of blue, and the land takes on the warm glow of midday. Elephants, moving in a slow and deliberate procession, make their way to a distant watering hole. Their massive footprints leave soft impressions in the earth, and the smallest calves, playful and curious, swing their trunks as they follow close behind their mothers. The sound of their slow, rhythmic footsteps merges with the rustling of the wind, creating a soothing symphony of movement. In the shade of a fig tree, a group of Maasai giraffes gather, their dappled coats blending harmoniously with the light and shadow. They feed lazily, pausing now and then to look up, their watchful eyes scanning the horizon. Beneath the tree, a family of warthogs scurries through the grass, their tails standing upright as they trot in single file. By late afternoon, the golden light begins to soften, casting long shadows across the landscape. The Mara's vastness is accentuated by the endless horizon, where the sky meets the earth in a seamless embrace. A cheetah perches atop a termite mound, its sleek body taut with anticipation. It scans the plains with sharp, unblinking eyes, every muscle ready for the chase. Yet even in its stillness, there is a grace and elegance that captivates. As dusk approaches, the sky transforms into a kaleidoscope of warm colors, deep oranges, fiery reds, and soft purples. The land seems to exhale, its rhythms slowing as day turns to night. The Masai Mara becomes a canvas of silhouettes, acacia trees, distant herds, and the graceful curve of the land beneath the fading light. When night falls, the Mara takes on an entirely different character. The sounds of the day give way to the nocturnal symphony of the savanna, the soft chirping of crickets, the low growls of distant predators, and the occasional call of a nightjar fill the air. The sky above is a vast tapestry of stars, their light reflected in the Mara River, which flows gently through the heart of this timeless wilderness. The Masai Mara is a place where nature's beauty unfolds in layers, each moment revealing something new. Its vastness humbles, its serenity soothes, and its rhythms remind you of the interconnectedness of all life. Close your eyes and let the tranquil pulse of the Mara carry you deeper into rest. The journey continues, but for now linger in the quiet magic of this sacred land. The first light of dawn spills over India's Ranthambore National Park, illuminating the ancient ruins that dot the rugged landscape. The morning mist clings to the ground, weaving through the dense groves of dock trees and across the golden grasslands. In the distance, the silhouette of Ranthambore Fort stands watch over the jungle, its weathered walls a silent testament to centuries of history. The air is thick with the fragrance of damp earth and flowering neem, carrying with it the distant call of a peacock greeting the new day. This is the realm of the tiger. The striped monarch of Ranthambore moves through the forest like a ghost, its orange and black coat blending seamlessly with the dappled light filtering through the trees. A tigress, known by the locals for her graceful presence, emerges from the undergrowth, her massive paws making barely a sound on the soft forest floor. Her amber eyes scan the land, alert yet unhurried, as she follows an invisible path through her vast domain. Along the banks of the Pantanal Lake, a congregation of sambar deer lingers in the shallows, their ears twitching at the slightest sound. A crocodile, motionless except for the slow ripple of water around its body, lies in wait, its patience as old as the land itself. Painted storks wade gracefully along the edges of the lake, their curved beaks dipping into the water as they search for an early meal. Overhead, a serpent eagle circles lazily, its sharp gaze scanning the jungle below for movement. Deeper in the forest, the ruins of old hunting pavilions and moss-covered temples emerge from the jungle, slowly being reclaimed by nature. Vines drape over weathered stone walls, and langurs leap effortlessly across the crumbling steps, their long tails trailing behind them like brushstrokes against the green canopy. Their playful chatter mingles with the occasional warning calls of spotted deer, ever watchful for the presence of the jungle's most elusive predator. As the morning sun rises higher, the jungle begins to stir. A family of wild boars roots through the undergrowth, their bristled backs shimmering in the soft light. Sloth bears, known for their shaggy coats and distinctive markings, lumber through the trees in search of sweet fruit. Their slow, deliberate movements are contrasted by the sudden rustle of parakeets bursting from the branches in a flash of green and gold. In the dry grasslands beyond the trees, herds of nilgai, the blue bulls of India, move with steady confidence, their powerful frames blending with the sun-baked earth. Jackals weave through the tall grass, their golden coats catching the light as they track unseen trails. A lone leopard, secretive and silent, watches from the shadows of a rocky outcrop, its sleek body coiled with effortless power. As midday approaches, the heat settles over the land and the jungle slows. The tigers retreat to the cool shade of the caves, their presence marked only by the faintest impressions of paw prints in the dust. The lakes shimmer under the sun's intensity, their waters a refuge for creatures seeking relief. Even the wind stills, leaving only the rhythmic calls of crickets and the occasional distant roar of a tiger echoing through the trees. As evening descends, Ranthambore is bathed in gold once more. The jungle comes alive with movement as nocturnal creatures begin to stir. The silhouette of an owl perches on a broken column, its wide eyes glowing in the fading light. The air is thick with the scent of blooming night jasmine, mingling with the distant murmur of a stream hidden deep in the undergrowth. The last calls of the daybirds give way to the quiet pulse of the night. Fireflies dance over the temple ruins, their glow flickering like lost spirits in the dark. The forest hums with a presence that is both ancient and eternal, a reminder that here, in this wild and sacred land, nature and history are forever entwined. Close your eyes and let the heartbeat of Ranthambore carry you deeper into rest, where the whisper of the jungle lulls you into a peaceful slumber. The journey continues, but for now, linger in the quiet magic of India's wild heart. The first light of dawn gently caresses the Chobe River, its waters shimmering like liquid gold under the early morning sun. The river winds gracefully through the heart of Chobe National Park in Botswana, a lifeline for countless animals that depend on its steady flow. Along the banks, ancient trees stretch their gnarled roots into the earth, their canopies swaying softly in the cool morning breeze. A soft mist rises from the water, blurring the edges of the landscape and creating an ethereal, dreamlike atmosphere. As the morning unfolds, life begins to stir. A pod of hippos, half submerged in the shallows, grunts and splashes as they greet the new day. Their massive forms seem almost comical as they jostle and play, yet their presence commands respect. Nearby, a crocodile lies motionless on the muddy bank, its rough, scaled body blending seamlessly with the earth. Only the glint of its unblinking eye reveals its watchful vigilance. The park's greatest spectacle begins to emerge as elephants make their way to the river. In the soft light of morning, their gray forms are almost silver, their movements slow and deliberate. A matriarch leads her herd, her massive ears fanning gracefully as she guides the younger elephants toward the water. They step into the shallows with ease, trunks dipping and spraying water in joyous arcs. Calves wade in deeper, splashing playfully, their innocent exuberance a heartwarming sight. High above, the sky is alive with bird life. African fish eagles call to one another with their haunting cries, a sound that echoes across the river and seems to belong to another time. Bright flashes of color mark the presence of kingfishers darting over the water, their wings beating furiously before they dive to catch an unsuspecting fish. Along the riverbanks, pied wagtails hop gracefully, their small movements in stark contrast to the grandeur of the surrounding wilderness. Further downriver, a herd of Cape buffalo gathers in the tall grass. Their dark, muscular forms create a striking contrast against the golden light of the savanna. They move together in a tight-knit group, their horns curving like battle-worn crowns. Their eyes, wary and alert, scan the horizon, ever mindful of the predators that share this untamed land. As the day warms, the rhythm of life slows. Giraffes stand motionless beneath the towering trees, their elegant necks craning to reach the tenderest leaves. Their spotted coats seem to absorb the sunlight, blending harmoniously with the dappled shadows of the forest. Impalas graze nearby, their delicate forms moving with the grace of dancers. The occasional flick of an ear or twitch of a tail is the only sign of their awareness, a quiet acknowledgement of the ever-present tension between predator and prey. The Chobe River itself becomes a stage for nature's quiet drama. A large bull elephant wades into the deeper waters, his powerful trunk extended like a snorkel as he swims effortlessly across. His massive silhouette, framed by the shimmering river, embodies the raw beauty and strength of this wild place. On the far bank, a troop of baboons watches curiously, their chatter blending with the sounds of flowing water and rustling leaves. As the afternoon sun dips lower, The colors of the landscape deepen into rich, warm tones. The river reflects the fiery hues of the sky, creating a scene so vivid it feels almost surreal. Herds of elephants return to the forest, their majestic forms disappearing into the trees as the first stars begin to appear. The park's nocturnal inhabitants start to stir, the soft hoot of an owl, the distant roar of a lion, and the gentle hum of insects create a new symphony for the night. In the fading light, Chobe National Park feels timeless, a place where the wild remains untamed and the rhythms of life flow as naturally as the river itself. The stillness of the evening settles over the land, a quiet embrace that soothes and calms. Close your eyes and let the gentle cadence of Chobe carry you further into serenity, where dreams and nature blend into one. The first light of dawn spills across the vast expanse of Yellowstone National Park, casting long golden rays over the rugged peaks, steaming geysers, and endless pine forests. Mist rises from the surface of the rivers, curling like ghostly tendrils above the water, before dissolving into the crisp morning air. The scent of earth, pine, and mineral-rich steam lingers, carried on the cool breeze that drifts through the valleys. A distant howl breaks the silence, a single note that echoes through the wilderness. A lone wolf calls out to its pack, its voice rising like an ancient song woven into the fabric of the land. Somewhere beyond the rolling hills, the response comes, a chorus of haunting, melodic howls, carried across the meadows where the morning frost still clings to the grass. The geothermal heart of Yellowstone awakens with the sunrise. Old Faithful, true to its name, erupts in a towering column of steam and water, its rhythmic display as dependable as the shifting stars. Along the grand prismatic spring, vibrant ribbons of orange, yellow, and turquoise shimmer in the early light, their surreal colors swirling in an endless dance of heat and minerals. Steam drifts lazily above the bubbling pools, a reminder that beneath this serene landscape, the earth breathes with hidden power. In the Lamar Valley, the great herds begin their slow, deliberate movement. Hundreds of bison, their shaggy coats dusted with frost, lumber across the grasslands, their hooves stirring up a fine mist of golden dust in the morning light. Elk graze along the riverbanks, their sleek bodies outlined against the backdrop of towering pines. A bull elk lifts its head, antlers gleaming in the sunlight, and releases a long, echoing bugle, a call that reverberates through the valley, marking the rhythm of the wild. The rivers of Yellowstone wind like silver ribbons through the park, their waters mirroring the vast sky. Along the banks, a grizzly bear emerges from the underbrush, its immense form moving with surprising grace. It pauses at the water's edge, sniffing the air before stepping into the shallows, where trout flicker beneath the surface. Nearby, an osprey circles high above, its keen eyes locked onto the river below before it plunges downward, wings tucked, talons extended, to snatch its prize from the current. Further along the slopes of the Absaroka Range, geysers and fumaroles hiss and bubble, sending plumes of steam into the cold mountain air. The land feels ancient here, untouched and untamed, where the elements shape the world in their own slow, deliberate way. The sound of distant thunder rumbles as a storm gathers over Yellowstone Lake, dark clouds rolling in from the west. Yet, even in the storm's approach, the land remains steady, unchanged by time, unshaken by tempests. As the day stretches on, the landscape shifts beneath the changing light. Shadows grow longer, and the setting sun ignites the cliffs of the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone in brilliant hues of red and gold. Waterfalls tumble down into the chasm, their endless roar blending with the wind that sweeps through the canyons. The Yellowstone River carves its way through the rock, as it has for millennia, a testament to the patience and power of nature. As night falls, the sky over Yellowstone transforms into a vast celestial tapestry. Stars burn bright, unchallenged by city lights, while the Milky Way stretches like a silver river across the heavens. The nocturnal world stirs. A chorus of crickets rises from the meadows. The distant cry of a coyote carries across the ridges, and the slow, rhythmic hoot of a great horned owl echoes from the branches of an ancient pine. In the heart of the park, the geothermal pools continue to breathe, their soft hissing and bubbling blending with the silence of the wilderness. The land sleeps, but it is never truly still. Beneath the quiet, beneath the stars, the hidden fires of Yellowstone smolder on, waiting for the dawn to rise once more. Close your eyes and let the sounds of the wild lull you into sleep, where the rhythm of the earth beats steady, ancient, and eternal. The journey continues, but for now, rest beneath the watchful sky of Yellowstone. The air in the Daintree rainforest of Australia is thick with moisture, carrying the scent of damp earth, wild orchids, and the faint sweetness of fallen fruit. Morning mist weaves through the dense canopy, where towering ferns and ancient trees stretch skyward, their emerald leaves catching the first soft rays of sunlight. This is the world's oldest living rainforest, a place where time moves differently, where the whispers of the past are carried on the rustling of leaves and the gentle drip of water from the treetops. The dawn chorus begins in waves, each layer of sound blending into the next. The deep, throaty call of a wampu fruit dove echoes through the trees, followed by the high-pitched trills of fairy wrens darting through the underbrush. The metallic chime of a riflebird's song carries across the canopy, its haunting melody drifting on the humid air. Somewhere beyond the tangled vines, a cassowary moves through the undergrowth, its blue skin and fiery red wattles standing out against the green, its heavy footsteps muffled by the thick carpet of fallen leaves. A slow-moving stream winds its way through the heart of the rainforest, its waters tinted amber by the tannins of the trees. The surface is still, save for the occasional ripple as a jungle perch glides beneath the water's edge. Tiny frogs cling to the broad leaves that arch over the river, their skin glistening in the golden light filtering through the trees. The soft hum of cicadas rises and falls in hypnotic waves, their song a constant companion in this untouched wilderness. Deeper in the rainforest, the terrain shifts, revealing towering strangler figs that have wrapped themselves around ancient hosts, their twisting roots gripping the earth like the fingers of time itself. Butterflies flit between the vines, electric blue Ulysses butterflies flashing like tiny living gemstones in the sunlight. Tree kangaroos move high above, their thick tails balancing them as they leap effortlessly between branches, nearly silent against the vast green world around them. The rainforest breathes with a steady rhythm, alive with the movement of creatures hidden beneath the thick foliage. A Boyd's forest dragon clings motionless to the bark of a tree, its textured scales blending so perfectly with the moss-covered trunk that it seems to vanish into the wood. A bandicoot scurries through the leaf litter, its small, round ears twitching at the faintest sound. Even the air feels alive, charged with the energy of a place that has remained unchanged for millions of years. At the edge of the rainforest, the world opens to the sea. Here, where the ancient jungle meets the Great Barrier Reef, the scent of salt mingles with the perfume of the trees. The beach is untouched, its golden sands stretching toward the turquoise waters beyond. The waves lap gently at the shore, their rhythmic motion a lullaby to the land. In the shallows, mangroves stand like sentinels, their roots stretching deep into the earth, holding the balance between the worlds of land and water. As the afternoon sun shifts, the golden light filtering through the canopy deepens, casting intricate patterns on the forest floor. The shadows stretch long, and the creatures of the night begin to stir. The low, resonant call of a barking owl signals the arrival of dusk, while sugar gliders begin their silent journeys from tree to tree. The rainforest hums with energy, yet remains peaceful, as though it has always known the secrets of time. Night in the Daintree is an entirely different world. Glowworms sparkle like fallen stars in the damp crevices of rock walls, their soft blue light twinkling like tiny constellations. The rainforest floor glows in patches, illuminated by bioluminescent fungi that thrive in the damp, ancient earth. The air is thick with sound, chirps, rustles, and distant calls weaving together into an orchestra of the night. As the stars take their place above the canopy, the rainforest settles into its timeless rhythm. The cool air carries the scent of rain, and the whisper of the wind moves through the leaves like an old lullaby. Close your eyes, let the pulse of the Daintree guide your breath, and drift into the peaceful embrace of the ancient forest. The Pantanal in Brazil awakens beneath the soft glow of dawn, its vast floodplains shimmering with the reflection of the morning sky. Mist drapes itself over the waterways, swirling above the glassy surface where giant lily pads float, their broad leaves catching beads of dew. The stillness of the wetlands is broken only by the distant cries of hyacinth macaws, their vibrant blue feathers flashing in the light as they glide between towering palms. The air is rich with the scent of damp earth and fresh water, carrying the faint sweetness of flowering bromeliads. This is the world's largest tropical wetland, a place where water and land merge, and life flourishes in every direction. Capybaras stir along the riverbanks, their rounded forms moving with unhurried ease. A family of them grazes on the thick grass, their wet fur glistening under the rising sun. Not far away, a lone jaguar moves through the reeds, its golden coat dappled with shadows. It moves with silent grace, its gaze fixed on the rippling water, where caimans rest in the shallows, their eyes peeking just above the surface. In the heart of the Pantanal, the waterways stretch endlessly, their slow currents weaving through forests of towering ipe and fig trees. The rhythmic chirping of crickets and the distant rumble of howler monkeys form the backdrop of the morning, joined by the occasional splash of a pirarucu breaking the water's surface. A giant river otter glides effortlessly through the shallows, its sleek body carving through the water as it hunts. It emerges with a fish held tightly in its jaws, shaking the water from its whiskers before disappearing once more beneath the surface. As the sun climbs higher, the wetland teems with movement. A flock of jaguars wades through the marsh, their long legs moving carefully through the water as they search for fish. Their immense wings spread wide as they take flight, casting elegant shadows on the land below. Along the banks, a marsh deer steps lightly, its large ears flicking at the sound of unseen movement in the tall grass. High above, a black-collared hawk perches on a low-hanging branch, its sharp eyes scanning the waters below. In a flash, it dives, talons slicing through the surface to snatch a fish from the river, droplets of water catching the sunlight as it ascends once more. The rhythm of life here is steady, eternal, dictated by the rise and fall of the waters and the shifting balance between predator and prey. As the day stretches on, the heat settles over the floodplains, and the still waters shimmer beneath the midday sun. Caimans bask along the banks, their rough hides absorbing the warmth, their yellow eyes unblinking. A tapir moves through the shallows, its large barrel-shaped body half submerged as it cools itself in the water. The only sounds now are the gentle lapping of waves against the reeds and the distant echo of parrots calling to one another across the trees. By late afternoon, the golden light of sunset spills across the landscape, turning the wetlands into a masterpiece of color. The sky is ablaze with oranges and deep purples, mirrored perfectly in the slow-moving rivers. The silhouettes of wading birds stretch long across the shallows, their reflections doubling the sense of stillness. As night descends, the Pantanal transforms once more. The croaking of frogs rises in waves, mingling with the deep-throated growls of caimans hidden in the reeds. Fireflies flicker along the riverbanks, their glow mirrored in the dark waters below. The jungle hums with nocturnal life, a chorus of unseen creatures moving beneath the cover of darkness. Somewhere in the distance, a jaguar roars, its call reverberating across the wetland, a sound as ancient as the land itself. It is a reminder that here in the Pantanal, nature remains untamed, its rhythm unchanged for centuries. Close your eyes and let the gentle lapping of water, the rustling of reeds, and the distant call of the wild guide you into a peaceful sleep, where the floodplain's beauty lingers in your dreams. The vast salt pan of Namibia's Etosha National Park stretches into the horizon like a shimmering mirage. Under the pale morning light, the pan gleams silver and white, its surface cracked and parched yet strikingly beautiful. Surrounding this immense otherworldly expanse are pockets of life, golden savannas dotted with thorny shrubs and the occasional acacia tree, their canopies casting soft shadows over the dry earth. The air is still, carrying the faint scent of dust and sun-warmed grass. Etosha's beauty lies in its contrasts. Despite the harshness of the salt pan, life thrives here in extraordinary ways. At the edges of a waterhole, the stillness is broken by the gentle rippling of water as animals gather to drink. A solitary oryx, its striking black and white markings like a work of art, lowers its head to the water's edge. Its long, straight horns catch the morning light, giving it an air of regal elegance. Nearby, a group of springboks moves cautiously, their slender forms gliding gracefully as they sip the life-giving water. The air is filled with the faint rustling of leaves and the occasional calls of birds. Helmeted guinea fowls scurry across the dry ground, their iridescent feathers glinting in the sun. Overhead, a pair of pale, chanting goshawks soars in graceful circles, their sharp eyes scanning the ground below. The park is alive with subtle movements, each creature perfectly adapted to this stark yet stunning environment. Further across the pan, a lone elephant appears on the horizon, its massive silhouette framed against the brilliant white of the salt flat. It moves slowly, purposefully, its great feet stirring up small clouds of dust with each step. The elephant's presence seems almost mythical, a gentle giant traversing a landscape that feels untouched by time. Its ears flap lazily, creating a rhythmic sound that blends with the whispers of the wind. At another waterhole, the scene is vibrant with life. A dazzle of zebras gathers, their striped coats creating a mesmerizing pattern against the earthy tones of the land. They take turns drinking, their heads dipping and lifting in unison, while a young foal stays close to its mother. Nearby, a herd of blue wildebeest waits patiently, their dark forms almost blending with the shadows. The dynamics between the species are harmonious, as if the waterhole serves as a silent truce in the ongoing balance of survival. As the sun rises higher, the heat begins to shimmer on the horizon, and the landscape takes on a surreal quality. The salt pan reflects the bright sky, creating the illusion of water in the distance. This mirage, both beautiful and deceptive, is a reminder of the challenges faced by the creatures that call Etosha home. Yet, amid the dryness, pockets of green mark the presence of waterholes, oases that sustain life in this seemingly barren land. The park's predators begin to stir as the day progresses. A pair of lions lounges beneath the shade of a mopane tree, their golden coats blending seamlessly with the tall grass. The male stretches lazily, his mane catching the sunlight, while the lioness watches intently, her gaze fixed on a herd of impalas grazing in the distance. Their stillness is deceptive, masking the power and agility that lies beneath their relaxed exteriors. Etosha's charm lies in its ability to surprise. As the afternoon drifts into evening, the light softens, and the salt pan begins to glow with hues of pink and orange. A black rhino emerges from the brush, its imposing form moving toward a waterhole with deliberate steps. The sight is rare and majestic, a reminder of the park's role as a sanctuary for endangered species. As night falls, the landscape transforms. The vast sky, free from artificial light, becomes a tapestry of stars, each one reflected faintly in the salt pan below. The haunting calls of jackals echo across the plains, mingling with the soft rustle of the wind. The air feels cooler, and the park settles into a different rhythm, its nocturnal inhabitants emerging to roam the quiet expanse. Etosha is a place of stark beauty and profound contrasts, where life endures against the odds, and every moment holds the promise of something extraordinary. Close your eyes and let the vastness of this timeless land wash over you, carrying you deeper into the quiet rhythm of the wild. The journey continues, but for now, linger in the peace of this ethereal place. As the stars rise over the vast expanse of wilderness, your journey through the world's most awe-inspiring landscapes draws to a gentle close. Each place visited, from the golden savannas of the Serengeti to the misty forests of the Daintree, from the tranquil waterways of the Pantanal to the raw beauty of Yellowstone, has left an imprint on your soul. These are lands where time slows, where nature's rhythms unfold, and where the delicate balance of life weaves an unbroken thread through all that exists. The gentle rustle of leaves, the soft calls of distant animals, the whisper of wind across untouched waters, all these sounds linger, inviting you to pause and reflect. You've walked alongside creatures great and small, marveled at the vibrant colors of tropical blooms, and felt the ancient wisdom carried in the air of these timeless places. Each moment has been a reminder of the world's boundless beauty, a tapestry of life that stretches across every continent. Now, as the journey fades into memory, the night embraces you with its quiet stillness. The soothing rhythm of nature's pulse follows you into slumber, wrapping you in the peaceful sounds of the wild. Let the dreams that come carry you back to these faraway places, where the stars burn bright and the earth's wonders await. Rest now in the gentle embrace of the natural world, and let the echoes of this journey guide you into a night of deep and restorative sleep. When you awaken, the spirit of these adventures will remain, a quiet reminder of the magic that surrounds us always. We hope you enjoyed today's serene journey and found peace in our gentle narration. Do join us next time as we make a relaxing visit to another of the world's most iconic places. Sweet dreams and safe travels until we meet again.